Welcome back. Now, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Art and Culture, MEIYSAC, in collaboration with the Omaheke Regional Council, hosted a career fair edition this past Saturday. Now, the fair was hosted under the theme Empowering Youth for Bright Futures, Skills, Opportunities and Pathways. To enlighten us more on the significance, we're now joined virtually, that is by Pio Nganate, the Governor of the Omaheke region. Governor, good morning and thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
Good morning, and good morning to our listeners as well.
Governor, now the fair provided scholars with an opportunity to gain the requisite knowledge about courses that suit them the most based on their subjects and coursework understanding. Maybe perhaps in that context, let's talk about why the Regional Council and the Ministry decided that it was important to host a career fair, especially during this time of the year.
Thank you very much. This fair emanated from a visit by the Honorable Deputy Minister of of Education, Arts, Culture, all those long names, who came to Omaheke, and then we attempted to engage young people, and they came in so many numbers, and we could not engage them very productively, and he then undertook to have a trip to Omaheke in February, which he did, and for which we thank him very much for keeping his word and for being a word. And then we resolved that we should then have a career fair so that we give our learners and our young people, those also out of school and those in school, an opportunity to be guided and to be informed about the various careers that they can embark on. In our time, we had very limited choices to make in life, and especially the period before independence, you could either become a teacher or a nurse, a pastor. And so many times people, when they hear you speaking or hear you doing things, they say, oh, but you could have become what? Oh, you could have become what? But we did not have those choices. And we also did not know that we were able and capable to have become that. But now, with our young people, we do not want to repeat the same mistake and to deny them the opportunity to knowledge and to guidance. And that's why we thought that let's have our learners as early as possible introduced to various careers so that they can have an appetite and they can also then discover their own potential and decide that in order for me to become this, I need to work towards this.
Now, which other platforms can be expected in the region that will possibly engage students, learners, youth, and different institutions, both in academic as well as in business?
Yeah, one of the important people within the school system is your life skill teacher, or that we cannot ignore at all. Those people are very important. These people can even continue giving learners or students the necessary choices towards careers. The other option is also that we have resolved as a region, together with the Regional Council and the Directorate of Education, that we must have road shows, which we also had in the past, but we're going to intensify road shows, and we have to concentrate on learners in grade 3, learners grade 7, learners grade 9, so that these learners are equipped and they know which careers or which subjects to follow if they want to become this person or that person.
Now, with the sole purpose of encouraging learners to make informed decisions with regards to the career path they wish to choose, let's talk about how did this fair change possibly even the negative perception that people might have about TVET?
Yeah, the career fairs are very, very important because in the past also you could associate our police force, our defense force with dropouts. And it's also because of the system that was then in place, the South African system, that once you reach a certain age group or you are grade 10 mostly in those days, then you were forced actually to join the army or to join the police. And it was, for example, regarded as positions that of low intellect capacity, or the entry levels were not so high. And the same also with the TVET. With TVET, we all wanted our children to become doctors, to become lawyers, to become that, and no one really paid attention to that child with special skills, to that child with a certain talent, to that child with a second direction of doing things. For example, if we take our houses that we live in, we take it so for granted. We forget who builds them. We forget who fixes the pipes in our houses when they are leaking. We forget who's making the furnitures and so on. And by doing so, the career fair is also putting an emphasis and redirect children towards the technical direction, so that we now have our children also getting interested in pivot direction, as opposed to starting something that they are not really in love with and that they are also not competent of doing. And that's why we had so many school drops in the past, or still have some school drops in the past, because a lot of our parents need to redirect their children to follow the path that they want to follow. In my case, for example, we are looking at, in the future, establishing a hands-on career, a hands-on curriculum, so that children at a very, very young age can be introduced to, for example, working with their hands and, for example, discovering things, innovating, creating. And that's my dream as a region, that we would one day have a school here in Omaheke that will introduce this hands-on curriculum at a very young age. When you look, for example, to our counterpart Zimbabwe, you will find a medical doctor who is a plumber, a medical doctor who is a carpenter, and so on and so on. So we need really to start redirecting ourselves as a country into a direction where we are fully developing our students so that they can become useful citizens and not only one-dimensional.
Indeed, quite to see that the aspect of a side hustle is also possibly being introduced at learners at an early stage, that one can have a formal qualification, a formal job, but possibly also be able to do additional work to build an income. Now, Deputy Minister was the keynote speaker of the Line Ministry with regards to education. What were some of his sentiments that he delivered as a keynote speaker?
Yeah, maybe before I delved into that, I must also mention that we are not only a region that speaks, we are also a region that acts. We have what we call our innovation and incubation village, where we have incubated the last 18 months TVET students in different directions. They are now entrepreneurs, registered businesses, running their own businesses. And that's a platform that we have created for young people to discover their skills, to also discover their creativity and to ignite them, actually. And that's what we are doing as a region. And we want to, together with our partners that will soon be on board, really, really put up this innovation village to be the center of after training, after school, where learners can come and also discover themselves and being mentored and being turned into entrepreneurs. And those ones, for example, who are getting this youth development fund to be incubated into business people or into entrepreneurs. But then our deputy minister was here in the region, and he did not really have a very lengthy statement, unlike some of us. His message was he have created a platform for young people to speak to the industries, to speak to the institutions of higher learning, to speak to the various institutions like banking institutions, and they came in big numbers. I must really compliment our exhibitors. They came in big numbers. The army came in numbers. The police came in numbers. Our institutions of higher learning came and exchanges were made. Learners could ask questions. And basically what the Deputy Prime Minister did was to create a platform and to link the industry with the learners. And his message was very simple, that you are having this platform now. Please engage, make the best use of it, and engage the industry.
Now, as governor of the Omaheke region, perhaps from the perspective of the region, why is it important, especially for young people, to connect students or youth to connect to students to different learning and business opportunities? What will that mean for your region?
I think the effort of the deputy minister was very, very important in the sense that over 1,500 learners gathered on a Saturday, and they could again just be children, just be young people. They could associate, they could play with each other, they could communicate to each other, and they could engage people in the know, and they could find answers to how do I, for example, apply for a loan or assistance from NASFAF, hearing it from, for example, Mr. Percy Shahere now in person, not someone they speak over the telephone with, but someone they could speak directly to. And definitely our banks also, for example, one would expect that in future that they, for example, come with application forms and our young people apply for banking accounts and become engaged in the issue of saving, because that's one of the big problems that we have in our society. We spend and we don't save, and those are the things that we could do. But overall, for young people to be given such a platform, it's very, very important. It can never be underestimated. It's something that every young person would yearn for. And I'm just happy that over the years we have created this platform. It's not the first of its kind. It's the first of its kind that it's spearheaded from the direction of Ministry of Education and the Regional Council. But Ministry of Education and private sector had what we call the Richer Career Fair under the then radio presenter, Honorable Udaraya Shaderwa, who's now the Councillor of Kakarara. We did have those career fairs, and our officers were also highly involved, and corporate world was highly involved in sponsoring them. So I believe it's something that we cannot really underestimate. It's something that we should encourage, that should take place from time to time. And as per my statement, I said, let's have mini career fairs across the whole region, because not everybody is living in Gobabas, not everybody is having access to Gobabas. But also let us not forget the out-of-school youth. But then when one has these career fairs also, you do not only want to have a career fair and you don't have a solution. You have creative industries, you have children in the creative industries or young people who have talent in that industry. After giving them the knowledge and the access, the information about what they can become, are you having a platform that they can utilize to become what they want to become? So we need to really work hard as per the wishes of our president. And I'm very happy that our president puts really emphasis on things like sports and things like career fairs. And we must make sure that we create platforms, but also we create opportunities, and not only feeding them information, but say, yes, you go into that door. That's where you can go. That's where you can discover yourself. That's where you can be assisted. That's where you can realize your dream. And also, is it giving an opportunity for children to dream and start believing in their dreams, and to see people who had similar dreams and who became what they have become.
Indeed, very important. Now, we understand that one of the objectives of the career fair as well was to provide the grade 11 AS learners as well as out-of-school youth with information on education and training opportunities, career path and skills development. Would you say, as a governor, was this objective met, and specifically with targets to the grade 11 AS, what stood out for you when these opportunities were presented for them?
Yeah, what stood out for me, and I would say it was met because the university, NUST, UNAM, were engaging these AS students directly in a hall, speaking to them, sharing their criteria, sharing information about the different fields that they can enter into once they are done with their high school or school areas. And so I think it was met, definitely it was met, and the learners were excited to have been fed with this information, because so many of them did not really have an opportunity to engage these institutions. And my hope is also that one of these institutions will open its doors within the Omaheke region. People may think that Hobabes is too close to Windhoek, and it is true, Hobabes is close, but Omaheke is definitely not close to Windhoek. ASAP 10 is 400 kilometers away from Omaheke, from Hobabes, and 600 kilometers away from Windhoek. So the most remote areas of Omaheke deserve to have an institution of higher learning within the boundaries, for example, of Hobabes.
Indeed. Now, Governor, as we wrap up our conversation this morning, what's next for the region that we know, Hobabes, we know we call it cattle country, but generally, what is next that is for the Omaheke region? Anything coming up that is interesting that perhaps that is worth sharing with the nation?
Yeah, Omaheke will be very busy this year, and we have the upcoming independence celebrations that, thanks to the wisdom of our president, she decided that this independence celebration be celebrated across the breadth and width of this country, and which we really thank her. I have this dream for so long that at one point the whole country just celebrate independence celebrations, and we do not conglomerate to one central point. And I want to thank the president therefore. So we are busy with arrangements. We are busy with the International Women's Day celebration on the 6th of March that will also be celebrated in Omaheke. And of course, the high point that we are all looking forward to come end of July is our Miss Teen and Miss Namibia pageant that will be hosted in Omaheke, which we really are looking forward to, and we hope to have a number of activities in the run-up to this competition. So Omaheke will be the place where everybody should focus to and be the place where everybody should discover the immense potential and investment opportunities within the sleeping region. And when the region is asleep, that's when investors should actually stream to this region and make the best of it. We're going to exhibit our cultural heritage and richness, our diversity and our tourist opportunities, and especially cultural tourism have to come to the fourth year. So in a nutshell, that's what we are going to do. On the front of education, we're not going to become complacent. Our principals, as we speak, they are in Swakopmund. They are busy with teamwork. They're busy with planning for the new year, because we have seen that we have ended number 5 on national ranking, and one of our schools number 10, and number 4 amongst the 10 best performing schools. So we are also on the front of education working very hard to make sure that we push 2 more schools into the top 10, and that we can also end number 1 spot like any other region, because these are people with the same abilities like any other student, whether in Windhoek and so on. And what is significant is that rural schools have proven to us that the location of a school is not the one that matters. And of course, also the condition of the school is not the one that really determines performances. We have seen a Pukiro Post 3, how dilapidated the school is in terms of the classrooms. The hostel is in perfect condition, but they could perform. They could come out amongst the very best. And of course, I do not want to encourage that schools should be dilapidated. We should work towards improving our facilities at health, at education, and wherever. Every facility in this country must be accessible to the king and also to the slave equally.
Indeed. Well, Piyo Nganate, Governor of the Omaheke region, thank you so much, sir, for making time to speak to us this morning.
Thank you very much also for inviting me on Good Morning, and I pray that God will keep blessing our leadership and our people of this country, and then one day we will eventually say we have defeated poverty and backwardness, and we are equal amongst all other countries. Thank you very much.
Indeed. We are also committed to that shared prosperity for Namibians.